Hello, everyone. This is Paul Sisler within the moment. And I
And I'm
guarantee
Shadow
you,
Fox.
yes, and we have Shadow Fox here with the flow. I guarantee you today I will not have any internet problems. I talked to the actual men working on the lines, and basically what it was, I'm giving a shout out to optimum.com. Real good internet service. What they do, it was a preemptive strike. They found a problem in the lines, went out. There was only 3 people that didn't have service, I being one of them. They fixed the problem, so should be
Awesome.
good to go from here on out.
All
So
right.
today,
Well, at least that's on your side. You never know
yes,
what's going to happen up over here.
exactly. Now, just to let everybody know that Shadow Fox's husband just had surgery today, eye surgery. So they are not at home. They are in a hotel room waiting for Lee to heal a little bit before they make the trip back. And Shadow Fox has graced us with her presence today. So thank you for taking the time with everything that's going on. I truly appreciate it. And how are you doing outside of all the other stuff?
Everything else is just like, everybody can see me a little frazzled, just a little bit today. That's all. It was just, my husband was in the hospital and I lost him. Like, I had no idea where he was. Like, what floor? They were supposed to text me or call me like after surgery. And we were like 2 ships passing in the elevators, So I was still a little frazzled, and we just got back a little bit ago, so it's been a kind of a rush to get in here. But he's doing well. He's doing great. We got the eye drops in him, got him fed, and he may have a booming voice from the background. You never can tell. So,
Yes.
but thank you. Yeah.
Diana Bishop is in the room, and she said,
Thank you,
Shadow Fox,
Diana.
you look pretty. So,
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's like, oh, hi, everybody. It's just so glad. I'm so honored to be able just to do this. And I'm really hoping to, ask some questions and on whatever. Paul, we were thinking about talking about some healing stuff, but, it's, I'm just glad to be able to say hello to everybody. So.
yes. I didn't plan on going too deep into anything. Like I said,
Yeah.
with everything that you have going on,
Yeah.
just the fact that we can come on here, maybe take some questions from people that are watching and stuff like that. One of the things I was going to bring up was Reiki, Reiki energy and stuff like that. Maybe we could talk about that for a little bit.
Sure, we sure can. We surely can. Reiki is a beautiful, beautiful, soft, energetic energy. To me, I kind of, I assimilate it personally. I do. Kind of like cotton candy, fluffy, soft, majestic energy. There's been quite a few studies out there, especially for people who were with cancer, like from chemo and everything. It can definitely, the energy can definitely help. That it's in many different capacities, but that's where they were doing kind of the studies. I was kind of like sort of involved in that, but Reiki energy is fantastic. There's just so many different things. We can talk about a few experiences that people have had with it, however you like to go with it. It's like Reiki energy. There's many different modalities for healing, by the way. It's not, there's Reiki, there's sound energy, sound healing, there's light healing, there's like nutrients. There's many different mechanisms. So
Awesome. Now, I see we have some people in the chat here. Could somebody let me know if it's me or if it's Shadow Fox? It's kind of breaking up a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Usually when there's a little lag and stuff like that, sometimes, as there's only two of us in the room, we're not going to be able to tell who's who.
It could be me because I am doing this from from the hotel. So
Yeah, I think it might be and all that because there's a little staticky in the voice again, and I'm not going to have you just keep coming in and out and all that. So I'm just not even going to worry
Okay.
about it. As long as you
All right.
stay, as long as we don't lose you, that's all that matters.
Okay. Or even if somebody writes a question, something, anything, it's like I can tell you. There was an experience we had um, uh, with my daughter, my eldest daughter, the one who had crossed over. She was about seven, or I think she was what, seven or eight, and she had an accident on her bicycle, and she had actually injured. They took X-rays, and there was a fracture that was on the growth plate, and the doctors were concerned about it. And I happened to be away. It was the babysitter that was taking care, so I had gotten a call, and we took her down to the emergency room. They did the X-rays, and it was right there. You could see it on the X-ray where this crack was, right there. And they said, we're gonna put it into a soft cast. We're just going to make an appointment with an orthopedic specialist for her because it was on the growth plate. Said okay, and it was 2 days later. This happened on a Tuesday night, so it was like Thursday morning we had to be there. And that evening, because I saw where the actual fracture was, because with Reiki energy, you're really not supposed to apply Reiki energy until like it's set, it's casted or the surgery's been done or anything. And but I had seen it, and it was just that little bit of a crack, and I says, okay, we're gonna go through, and we're just gonna let the Reiki energy do what it has to do, because I wasn't looking at healing the bone. I was just looking at reducing some of the pain for her. Okay, that's what the intent was. And sure enough, she was able to go to sleep. Everything was fine. We get to the orthopedic on Thursday. They took another X-ray, and they said, "Why did they send you here?" And from the next X-ray, they looked at it, and it was gone. It was gone.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, it was gone, and it was not my intent to do the actual bone. Um,
Right.
but yeah, it was just for her to be able to sleep, to not hurt so bad. Yeah.
Right. Diane Bishop has a question and all that. What
Okay.
would you describe as the first step on a spiritual journey for the average person?
Question everything. Question your motives, your intent, what those, who does it serve, right? Who does it serve? Everything from a belief system to, you know, whatever. It's a very, very broad question, but I think the very first part of that spiritual journey is really just seeking and asking why. It could be anything from what am I here for? What am I supposed to do? What is my journey going to be? It could be anything to that. It could be, what does this squirrel have to say to me today? What does that animal or the birds or nature in and of itself? It just start being aware of your environment and those around you. And that's a really good place to start, I think.
Now, I want to jump in because, of course, I have an opinion on this, and I want to remind everybody I'm an atheist, but I am
Mm-hmm.
spiritual. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of view things in a different way. And I believe that every human starts their spiritual journey with the first breath of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what the
Yep,
aspect that
I
Diane is
agree.
asking about is when do you, as a human being, decide to acknowledge your spirit and your journey. And I think the acknowledgement that you recognize yourself as something more than what you are, in my opinion, is the actual first step, the recognition. And then everything that Shadow Fox said, I think,
Yeah.
in my opinion, would be second step, because I think just the acknowledgement of, wow, I really don't like who I am, what I've become, and I need to become a better human being, and I need to start thinking about things in a different way, and
Yeah.
you and not liking yourself may be the fact that you may eat too much, or you may not eat enough. You may be a smoker, or a non or somebody that does drugs, or you may be somebody that doesn't know how to get their finances in order. There could be a lot of things that you don't like about yourself, and it doesn't always have to come back to physical aspects. It can be just mental aspects. It can be how you talk to people, how you have conversations. You might recognize that, oh my God, I'm a know-it-all. I need to quit doing that. I used to be that way when I was younger. I was a know-it-all. I always had an answer to whatever anybody had to say. I knew the answer to that. No, I wanted to be a part of the conversation. That's all.
Well, and I think that really is a part of it, because like there's many mechanisms, and that's another aspect. But there are people that will live their whole life and never once look or question their own spiritual journey, their own spiritual aspects. And that could be from, this is, why certain illnesses, you know, come into our physical bodies, for instance. It's like you may just, wow, look how, wow, I did this, or this is affecting me, but guess what? I've been able to, overcome this, or live with this or that. And these are mechanisms. This is why I'm saying, question everything. But Paul, I agree with you. I agree that it's upon sound, actually. It's upon breath. You inhale, okay, and then you have sound. So I believe that in that process, because even if someone is suffering, could be in any capacity. It could be physical, it could be a mental, it could be emotional, any one of those. And if you're trying to work through something, usually where you're going to find the answer is right in here.
Yes.
And we have to, when we can actually come in and bring to our center and that peace. There's a lot to be said to step back and be the observer, and you can observe yourself. Like, wow, did I handle that situation well? No, man, I really blew that situation. It was like, man, I dropped the ball on that, or I did it really well, or I could have been more graceful with it. But these are those things and it's not second guessing us, but it's for, who do we choose to serve? We cannot serve two masters. Okay. And this is where it's, this is where that part where, I'm just a little different than you or a few others. I do not think that, as far as religion and, being spiritual are they're two separate things. I really do firmly believe that. Doesn't mean that there's anything one way or the other, but you cannot serve two masters. And if you're religious, then you're following a doctrine, and you're following a business plan. And that's really about the only difference I really have. And it's no big deal.
Yeah, no, I agree, because, there can't, see, I wasn't raised in a household with God. Okay. My dad was an atheist. My mom, I don't really even know what her beliefs were or weren't. It really never ever came up. There was never a denial that there was a God. There was never an acknowledgement that there was a God.
Yeah.
It never was talked about. And my first marriage, my first wife, her mother, her aunt, her uncle, they were all ministers. And when at the time, I would have considered that my spiritual journey because I was looking for something more. And
Mm-hmm.
I took a deep interest in Jesus, and I took a deep interest in the book. I read the book. I had questions. People were unable or unwilling to provide answers to some of those questions
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
some of the things that I read in that book I did not like. And from there, which was Presbyterian, I went from Presbyterian to Pentecostal to Lutheran to Baptist to
Mm-hmm.
at one time I was a Jehovah Witness. I have been a Mormon. I have been all of the Abrahamic studies with the Bible, the Torah, the Quran. I've studied
So
them.
so so let me ask you a question, Paul. Have
Okay.
you had a chance, like, because we're looking, you're looking at the different studies, okay, the different
Hmm.
religious aspects, but have you had a chance um to like really study or look at someone else's culture, like the way how they integrate with family, or I mean, come on,
Yes. Yes.
cooking, because when we get a chance, I feel, okay, when we get a chance to observe or experience, whether it be through another visiting another country, or even in certain cities or towns that'll have different sections where you have different cultures.
Hmm.
And I think when we get a chance to experience that, and it's like, wow,
Yes.
I think it can be a really good eye opener. And again, it could be like, oh, you guys do this. Oh, how cool.
Right.
Like,
Well,
why
see, that's
family doesn't do that,
right.
you know?
That's where I was going with it, though, and all that, because
Yeah.
after a lot of the Abrahamic religions and my
Yeah.
searching and wanting to know more, um, I got in the casino industry at a young age.
Hmm.
And the interesting about the casino industry is that a lot of people from a lot of different countries, a lot of different cultures, a lot of different backgrounds work
Hmm.
in the casino industry. So I have met people from all over the world. I have had dinner and been to banquets and potlucks and stuff like that with
Yeah.
people from all over the world. Okay. I have talked with people from North and South Korean cultures,
Hmm.
Chinese cultures, which there's numerous cultures throughout China. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
numerous
Yeah.
cultures throughout China that people that they think the Chinese and it's just that it's just one thing. No, 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 no. Multitudes, multitudes.
Yeah.
Okay, Africa. I've worked with a lot of people from South Africa, the Congo, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Chad, Kenya. Um, Ethiopian food. They love their chili. They love their chili. And
Uh-huh.
oh my God, I love Ethiopian food. Morocco, Moroccan food,
Yeah.
Marrakesh. I mean, all these different cultures. And then when you start looking at what their religious or their spiritual beliefs
Hmm.
are, it's
Hmm.
amazing at how much things different. Even people that have Christian beliefs in another country, they see the religion differently, okay,
Yes.
than
Yes.
what like the United
Hmm.
States. I mean, we have some extremism over here, you know.
Hmm.
Then like a lot of people and all that, you start talking Muslim in the Quran, they're just like, oh, they're extreme. And guess what? They're just like we are. Okay, they have all these different variations, and
Hmm.
there are extremist groups, and there are groups that are just all love, all kindness, all bring it all in.
Yeah.
So again, when people categorize like Christianity, hey, there's
Uh-huh.
good Christianity and there is some bad Christianity.
Yeah.
There is some good Muslim beliefs,
And
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 there's
and
bad
that's
Muslim beliefs.
here's the point. When you take a look at that, right? That just that statement alone.
Mm-hmm.
It could it be a judgment? Sure, it could be, but you can always qualify that by who does it
Right,
serve? Is
right,
it serving the individual, or is it serving
mhm,
a larger set of people? Is it
right,
causing harm? Could it cause harm? Or what harm could it cause? Because
right.
this is why when we take a look, like with beliefs or belief structures in any capacity, I don't care if we're looking at a culture, or for instance, even education. Well, this is the way I was educated, so this is what I've learned. So this is, hands down, this is law. We're not going to add anything else to it. Okay. We tend, because nobody likes to relearn something, right? You learned it. I mean, really, would you like to relearn your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s? I wouldn't. you know, already
Right.
did that. Been there, done that. Let's move on. But
Right.
when we have a chance to, whether we're studying another culture, whether we're studying another language, whether we're studying, anything. I mean, this is why it's like sometimes even in our educational system that, for instance, here's a perfect example, okay? If you take a look at how much education, how much time frames that doctors actually were receiving on nutrition, it was like what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay, don't hold me to it, guys, no haters out there, please. But for seriously, they really did not get, that nutritional information. I think for how, because we can heal the body through what we eat. And I know, Paul, I know there's a lot of things you've been, stepping up to the plate, eating a lot more healthy, so on and so forth. But here's the thing. Do you know how difficult it was to get doctors just to sit there and go, really? If we eat, an artichoke, or if we eat whatever, it's like, don't drink milk, drink milk. What is it? So these are the things that was very difficult for the doctors to go, oh no, we can just fix that with a pill, right? Instead of recognizing that the body can, again, we're talking cultures, we're talking
Right.
education, we're talking religion, we're talking even political views. It's like sometimes we get so hell bent on something just because we learned it one way or we believe it to be so. And so, like, when you go back to that original question that Diana had asked, start questioning, question everything. How does it fit? How does it vibe? Maybe it does suit you. Maybe this is something really good to hang on to, a belief or whatever. But the point is then just don't force it on somebody else.
Right. Right. But to continue on with that question and all that,
Yeah.
I started looking into Buddhism, Hinduism,
Mm-hmm.
Taoism,
Oh
Confucianism.
yeah.
I started
Yeah.
looking into a lot of other and that's when I
Isms.
started.
I
Yeah.
like the isms.
Well, they're a lot of people will call like Buddhism a religion. Buddhism isn't a religion; it's a philosophy. Okay,
Yes, it is.
and there's a confusion in what makes a religion, what makes a philosophy. I'll save that for another discussion another day, because then we're going to get into cults and sex and all that other stuff. But and that's sex, SECTS. I want to clarify
Oh, oh,
sex.
good.
Um, all right. Even though there may be sex involved, sex, we're still talking about sects. Okay. Anyways,
Hey, guys, you never know where these conversations are
yes, but
going.
these
You're
other
the
these,
instigator, Paul.
these other philosophies started talking more about taking care of the body and the mind, where what I found with a lot of the Abrahamic um, religions was, here's the rules, don't break them, and
Yeah.
God loves you, versus you have to be more endearing to yourself and then spread that amongst others. So
Yeah.
I found those to be more spiritual, truly spiritual. And then I
Yeah.
started researching into other things like the mythology, going into like Greek mythology, Roman mythology, which they're hand in hand with each other. One's based off of the other. All the different types of gods. And then when you start really delving into a lot of other um,
Yeah.
belief systems, I mean, you can go all the way back to the code of Hammurabi and the gods they
Sure.
believed in
Oh,
and
yeah.
the they taught, and I mean, that's where eye for an eye began, not not
Yeah,
not
yeah,
not the
and
whole Bible.
actually, I believe our laws are still based upon that formula. And again, there's a
A lot of
division
them,
because, not to get
yes,
off the subject here, but definitely there are two distinct different systems of law
Oh, yes.
especially in the United States. That for the wealthy, the white collar crimes,
Right.
okay, and the blue collar. And if you think about it, sometimes the white collars are even worse than what the blue collars
Yes.
are. I mean,
Yes.
people are going to jail for, I mean, what was it, an ounce of pot? I mean, come on, for how many
Right. I
years?
know. I know. And again,
Really.
that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother
But
day.
rob
But
people for millions and millions of dollars from their, their savings
right.
or investments, and oh, that's okay. But we'll just put a little ankle bracelet on you, and you're okay. Really.
Right. But the
Well, God,
basis of bringing this up though and all that, as far as like, the golden rule and eye for an eye, all of these
yeah.
different formats and everything from all these different religions and philosophies, one would think then, okay, the Buddhism, okay, this is the beginning of my spiritual journey. What I learned is that my spirit throughout time and in my older years is that
Mm-hmm.
my spiritual journey where I was searching goes all the way back to when I was a kid, about 7 or 8 years old, when I started looking into the world of why is this way? Why is that way? Why do things happen this way? Why do people lie to me? Why do people do this? Why do people do that? That's where the spiritual journey actually began. And it took me 30 years to realize that my spiritual journey began when I was a child. And now I'm really honing into it. And I would say, since, especially when my wife took ill and
Mm-hmm.
through all of that, I think I really dug into myself more spiritually, just starting to really recognize the signs and the things that I get and stuff like that, and how the energy, the connection that I have with people, how things are coming together. Um, it's a whole nother revelation in life. And now my connection to you, and the guidance I get from you and the mentorship is just, these things are supposed to go this way because we have lessons to learn in life, which brings us to the next crossroads.
Yeah, and, there was a crossroad, because when we're speaking about and we're bringing the whole, let's bring the whole content like kind of together, okay? I think maybe in, I don't know, sixth or seventh grade, okay, if memory serves me, okay, sixth or seventh grade, qualified around there. And it was a science class, and we were looking through the microscope, and we were looking at like amoebas and just parameciums and just a whole bunch of different stuff. I think we were looking at like slime water or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But the thing is that there was a moment when I was looking through the microscope and I saw like this activity, this beautiful, almost intelligence. Okay, I mean, it's like maybe not intelligence like you or I are thinking or can critically think or anything like that, but it was that part of survival. And
Mhm.
it really resonated, and it looked, because what I was seeing was the same thing that you see in the cosmos. It was like, here's the micro, and then above is the macro. And it was like in instantaneous, it was like, whoa. I mean, like really small things. And there's all kinds of microbes and all that other stuff, our cells of our bodies, right? And yet, as above, so below, on earth as it is in heaven. These things, it's like, just question. It's like when people are researching and studying something, maybe in the sciences or quantum physics. Oh my God, quantum. Oh yeah. That's like, oh, I'm digging on it, right? Because science is going to start recognizing that consciousness is intertwined with the quantum physics, the quantum mechanics, quantums, period. And
Mhm.
I don't think they've actually got there where they can like say, okay, well, we're going to throw some mathematical equation out here and this is what it is. But yeah, That's what it's. Yeah, kind of.
Well, I think part of the problem is that, and again, this goes to
Just a question.
it goes to a belief system that I have because
Mm-hmm.
science hasn't shown it one way or the other.
Yeah, yeah.
Because science wants to cut open the skull and look at the brain and take photos and see what synaptic impulses are taking part and stuff like that within the brain. Where I personally believe the electromagnetic energy that is around our body, it extends out like 8 feet. Every human being has this electromagnetic field. I don't believe that my thoughts come from up here. I think my thoughts are all out here
Mm-hmm.
and register up here. Okay. I believe that the electromagnetic field is life, and the life isn't within my body, but all around my body and within. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
all of that. So I don't think of myself as being in here. I think of myself as being extended out. And that way, when like if I'm since I've started believing that way decades
Mm-hmm.
ago, I have been able to read people better, feel people better,
Mm-hmm.
understand people better because
Mm-hmm.
I'm in their electromagnetic way, which means our minds are intertwining. We're understanding each other that way. So I feel like that's more of where we're at. And if science were to study that electromagnetic energy for I guess thought impulses or something, I think they would learn a lot more.
Yeah, that was a discussion I was having with a few scientists, and they don't have they really don't have the instrumentation as of yet. But this is where, because we had gotten into this big discussion, and it was like so many people are looking to the heavens, okay, to space for dark matter, dark energy. Why the hell somebody ever named it that is beyond me, because it's nothing. It's like the furthest thing from whatever. But because whoever named it, really didn't have a clue to kind of what you're speaking about, Paul. And if scientists, doctors, engineers, whatever, actually started studying the body. I don't mean, we can tell you how the heart pumps, and, we can
Right.
tell you we're learning a lot more about the endocrine system.
Biology.
We're looking a lot more on the lymphatic system and the immune system. But what we're talking about is the energy body, the energy systems. And I love your cup, by the way. I'm going to make a comment on that cup in just a minute. Yeah, there you go. Um, but guess what? If they were to study, it's easier to be able to study something close here than it is out there. And what they're going to find is that the same mechanisms, the same things that they're calling dark energy, dark matter, the interaction thereof, guess what? It's right here in our body. And, can I prove that? No, because I'm not a scientist. Okay. But if they could start recognizing and figuring out and like creating these instruments, there would be so much more information and healing mechanisms coming forward in every single capacity that there is. They would actually further and deeper understand the quantumness of dark matter, dark energy. And I really wish they would change that name, because it's the farthest thing from dark that there is. So I don't know, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I can put it out there and hope. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean it's going to change.
Well, if
But
quantum,
wait, I told you there could be a voice from above, which there really is, because he's standing here right above me.
We have
Lee Two Hawks.
Lee Two
Well,
Hawks.
if there is validity to quantum physics, quantum matter, basically, it cannot live or get any great understanding till we realize that we are itself quantum matter, quantum energy. We are an inherent part of the system. But I wanted to say one thing too, about the bugs you mentioned and amoebas. Okay, now,
My amoebas.
no wait. What do you call a very selfish couple that start dating?
I have no idea.
Parameciums.
Okay.
I
Okay.
told you we have no idea where this is going. He was fully medicated today.
Okay. He needs more medication. Anyways, Diana Bishop has a comment. Believing in the creator means that all the power is in us. Therefore, I am manifests our reality. Your thoughts and views on that?
Oh yes, she said it. I mean, this woman is growing exponentially. Her understanding, and it's like just a couple key little things, and man, she is just running with it. That I know Diana, so it's like she's a very dear friend of mine, and I can say that believing, I think there is a difference when you say, believing in the creator. Again, for those who don't believe in it, just recognize that it is energy in one capacity or another, and that energy is within us. And the most powerful words in the universe is I am. And I am is that energy that continually is in movement constantly. You start it and it just keeps going. Other things, like if you say, I feel sad or I feel happy, that feeling can be short lived. Okay, but the I am continues. And so this is why it's like that belief, we're very powerful beings. And again, it's like until science starts coming up, hint hint, guys, whoever's out there listening, let's get this ball on the roll here. But yeah, I think that all the way across the board, and if we look at our own spirituality, it is our own experiences, and those that are not based upon what somebody tells us, it is, I think. So
Yes. No, there's a lot of things when it comes to, like I said, religions.
your cup, your cup. Now wait a minute. No, I
No,
got
okay.
I got.
Okay.
Show me
Okay.
your cup. What's it? Oh yeah. Okay.
Mute the media.
Well, the one thing is, I think the very difference is that I mean, maybe it's just because it was, I don't know. My understanding was that news was to be informative, not entertaining specifically. And I think that's, I'm sorry, let's create a whole bunch of drama around someone suffering, or let's create some more suffering by creating more drama. I'm sorry, I will say this eventually. I'm really hoping it kind of happens a little sooner than later, but I'm going to remain steadfast in this. And I know, Paul, I think you know what I mean when I say I'm going to remain steadfast in this, because I really do believe that people are growing tired of the manipulations, the tirades, the drama on the trauma. And I think people are going to start looking more for things that are stimulating intellectually, learning something. Like, hey, we got a news thing here. Guess what just happened? We found out that quantum physics and consciousness, and guess what? They're united. Oh my gosh. Could that be a newsworthy thing? Come on. I really do believe it's going to have to change, because there's people that are hungry for information, not drama. Okay, we're again going into the stoicism, going into managing and governing of our own emotional components. Again, it will be moving that way. I just don't know how fast it's going to do it.
I think it's moving fast, and here's what I want to anchor into this is because, Mute the Media, Matt and Cheyenne, they're just like two of the greatest people in the world and all that. Check out Mute the Media on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, type in Mute the Media. I've been interviewed by Matt and Cheyenne quite a few times. I've been in a few of their YouTube shows. You may not always agree with everything that Matt says, but he brings up a lot of good points. And this actually relates back to energy and manifestation. Let me go through this, okay? Because all the negativity and all the propaganda and all the rhetoric that comes out in the media, okay? Politicians, the media. It's one of the reasons why I wrote this book, The Red Herring Effect, okay? Now, this is one of the things that connected me and Shadow Fox, because she has a book that talks about these same problems from a whole different perspective and addresses them and brings solutions. Okay. Now, when you look at the world and everything that has been propagated and thrown out there and all the red herrings that are coming at everybody from every direction, and people are being hurt by the system of oppression worldwide. It's not just here in the U.S. It's worldwide.
It's worldwide. Oh, yeah.
And now you start looking at what's happening worldwide, okay? This authoritarian dictatorship, oppressive regimes across the world have been oppressing people, oppressing people, oppressing people, oppressing people. People are starting to go without. They're starting to go out without food. They're starting to lose jobs. They have no money. They're losing their roofs. The homelessness and poverty problems are becoming huge, not just in the United States, but across the world in a lot of other countries.
Hey,
look at Iran.
Here, and inflation is all over the world. It's not just here in the United States.
Let me go. Let me continue with this. Okay, look at in Iran. The women are taking their scarves and are burning them. They are cutting their hair. They are rebelling. Russia, the people are rebelling against the war. The men are fleeing because of the mandate to go to war. People are tired of the oppression, and it's manifesting. Everybody is wanting love and kindness to prevail, and we have to rebel against it. And this rebellion is happening everywhere in the world. And we're all hoping for the manifestation of this thought. It's going out there. People are becoming strong enough to stand up for themselves and stand up for other people. People that never were interested in politics or interested in politics. I being one of those people. My God, since 2017, this is what I do now. So yes, this manifestation.
But does it, Paul, when it comes right down to it, does it not bring it full circle to how and what we qualified and started this conversation with? And we were talking about, who does it serve? These actions, if you're looking to power, okay, like power through government or position or title, whatever, it's kind of like, a false sense of security. It's like everybody says, oh, no, we got all these, Ebola things and everything, and they're all safe and secure at a facility. Well, okay. I'm glad you're thinking that. Power goes out. Guess what? There is no, the power is within. And that's where it is. And any security and any capacity is going to be within. So we can be secure in how we are going to behave towards other people. And if we are choosing to stifle and oppress and dominate and control, that's just very old, stale, stagnant energy. And quite honestly, what the change is really is that people are just growing tired. There's nothing different. Nothing's changed since the Middle Ages. Nothing has changed since Constantine, or name an emperor, name somebody, go for it. For eons, it's been
Hmm.
like this. It's a power struggle. It's like, okay, well, before, yep, those were the people in power and they do the stuff. And so we just kind of allow it and let it go. Well, right now, it's like, well, wait a minute. No, I don't think so. We're not liking this right now, right? Well, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. And the thing is this is what that power of listening to our own intuition, questioning these things. There's nothing different. I've heard people go on a rampage and it sounds like a mantra, and this is doing this and the government's doing that, or this or this or this church or that church. And it's just blatant big red flags out on the field, for those who wish to control and manage and manipulate other people. They really can't control themselves. I'm going to say it over and over again. You guys are going to get tired of me saying it probably. But people are really becoming uncomfortable with it. It doesn't mean it's new. It doesn't mean like there's anything different from Middle Ages. It's just what we're aware of is that it doesn't suit us anymore. And guess
Yeah.
where that comes from? That starts coming from an inner understanding of ourselves and the world around us, like bringing into the communities where we're not, for instance, if we're oppressing people, like say that are, okay, women, I'm one, okay, women, disabled, veterans, indigenous, you know, blacks, browns, indigenous, different cultures, different religions. When we start oppressing them, it's like, yeah, I don't think so. So again, we're starting to, and I'm not going to use the word like wake up, awake. It's just we're stepping into a different consciousness, and
Yes. A different
and I think it's,
awareness.
and yes, and it is that for unity. I think it's that for community. I think it's for love, and just, like, wow, live and let live. I mean, really? You talk about the
Yes.
golden rule. You talk about these things. Guess what? Those are laws. Common sense comes down to laws of energy. This is kind of what our book's about, but we take and we break down some of the laws and we put up some checks and balances and say, yeah, you could do this. You absolutely could do and cause harm and hurt. But then you might choose to look around at the law of reciprocity. So if you're looking at, rah rah sis combined, let's, cause harm to another or feel vindicated or looking for your own vengeance, well, you know, you're perfectly welcome to do that, but it's
Hmm.
going to come back on you.
Yeah.
And that's not karma. And that's not karma. That's something else.
I know. The problem that we have today in this world, everybody wants to be right. Okay.
Mm.
Everybody wants their system to be the right system. Everybody wants to have superiority over somebody else for whatever reason it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, that's the part that's breaking down, Paul.
well,
really, that part of this is that dismantling of that. It truly
yes,
is.
it is. And that's why there's such huge tribalism right now.
Yep.
The
Yep.
reason
Yep.
why there is such a separation,
Yep.
the reason why there's such two huge sides, not only has it been propagated to cause that division. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to think about this. If the government can keep the people divided and not see what's going on behind the scenes, they can continue doing what's going on behind the scenes, and the people kind of bicker with each other.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they didn't realize that this division that they caused has caused a huge division. So much so that people don't critically think for themselves anymore. They listen to what they're told to say, what they're told to believe, and what they're told to do. And they don't think for themselves because it lines up just enough with this belief or that belief that I have that I'm going to stick with it all the way. And now they're not willing to listen anymore. And when you have that kind of division,
Oh
You
yeah.
have a breakdown of a system. The system is collapsing. The only bad part about the system collapsing is that you just don't know what the outcome's going to be. And unfortunately, we have two far extremes right now.
Oh yeah.
And it's not happening just here in the United States, but it's happening throughout the
Oh,
world.
the world. Oh yeah.
So
For the
we are
world.
headed towards a universal fixing. Now, I just don't know which way is it going to go. Is it going to
Yeah.
be an authoritarian dictatorship, just outright oppression of anyone that's not like me type of thing? Or is it going to be we all love each other, we all share with each other, and we all provide for each other? It's going to be one or the other. We're either going to
Yep.
fix it and be humanitarian, or we're going to destroy it and it's going to become authoritarian, which in another way is fixing the problem, but not in a very good way.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it's like until like when Diana was asking, well, you know, when do we begin?
Mm-hmm.
When are the first steps? When can that process begin? Actually, it can begin right now. And
Yeah.
it's like there are keys. It's just like, in mathematics, there's, special, there's steps. There's certain things. You do this to one side, you do that to the other side. It's kind of like I really dislike I really dislike the word rule. Rules are meant to be broken. Okay, well, they are. Okay. Um, but when you take a look at what is happening across the board, um, in the world, it's not just here in the States, it's all over. People are unhappy, and it's going to
Yes.
those extremisms. And when we're looking at an extremism, when we become so set in a specific belief or specific viewpoint, that's when the red flag goes up. That's your biggest clue. Like, hello, wait a second. It
Yep.
doesn't mean, like it's incorrect. It just means that if you're so focused in one direction, you're missing. It's like, yeah, a penny wise, dollar foolish, right? Because you're only looking at one pivotal point instead of seeing the larger picture, the larger scope. And again, when we come back to the news, when we come back to an individual in any capacity, it is, we've got to have a greater stimulus for challenging those intellectual aspects. And I think news can really bring it about, other than, just curtailing to the drama, the trauma, and how horrible something is. And I mean, it's if the only thing you're doing is entertaining with a specific point of view, I really think that's dangerous. It's just like, go to, how many churches? I mean, really, people stay in a community. They go to one church only, and that's it. That's their
Mm-hmm.
church. That's their tribe, right? They're told how to believe, what to believe. This is how we do things, right? Why would anybody think that it would be any different to run a political system? Why would
Right.
that? Is this like really like rocket science here? Because we've been trained through school, through
Yep.
culture, through our
Yep.
education. Like, we're bringing it right back again. Question everything. What's
Everything.
the reason behind it, right? So we brought it all full circle. I had a little fun in the sun, here or there, but it. I'm sorry. It's like I have my own personal beliefs. Sometimes I share some of them. Many times I don't.
Right.
But
Saying,
I'm not gonna date. Okay. Did you get my hint? Man, date. Dating men, very old energy, old ancient energy.
yes.
Um, and again, this has got to get shaken up a little bit. And I'm hoping there's going to be, come to an equilibrium. I
It
really
is.
do. Because you know, if religion is bringing forward, you know, like love thy neighbor, then damn well show it. How do you
Right.
do? How do you do that? When you become that
Right.
being love,
Right.
it becomes a mute point. Nobody has to
Right.
tell you how to you know
You know, and
how to
like I
do it.
said, I've studied a lot of the Abrahamic religions,
Mhm.
and there's two things that I find in a commonality within them, along with the philosophies of like Buddhism, Hinduism, you
Mhm.
know, Taoism. Um, when you look, there's a rule, whether it be called the golden one or the
Right.
silver one or the platinum
Mhm.
one or whatever they decide to call
The
this
blue
rule.
one.
It's
Yeah.
well, it's very similar in
It
all of
is.
these different cultures and
Yes.
religious breakdowns. It's basically do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Yep.
And then the other one is, you know, love thy neighbor, love thy, you know, friend, love, you know, it's about loving everybody basically and all that, you know.
Yeah.
These are like the two rules that are a commonality in almost every religious concept out there,
There is. Yeah.
philosophical concept. So
Yeah.
let's just throw away all the other garbage and live by these two things. What a beautiful fucking world it would be. Love thy neighbor and do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. We don't need any other rules. We don't need any
No.
other regulations. Just there it is. That says it all, you know. And with that,
Yeah, and I think, well, if you add the other thing, just let's bring it into three, okay?
okay,
That you know, it's oh, I just what was I gonna say? Respect everybody else's. You know, it's like free will, or you know that the right to believe in a certain way. It's like you just don't inflict your belief upon another. That's it. It doesn't matter
yeah,
what somebody else is. So if you only go
right.
with just that premise of, you know, you're okay to believe whatever you like, just don't put yours on someone else's, so someone else is not going to put theirs on you.
Yeah, that basically comes with first do no harm.
Hmm.
First do
Yeah.
no harm. If your
If
words
I
are going
may,
to harm, don't do them.
Oh, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
if I may just make an analogy. So
Yes.
I think all people are engineers. I'll tell you why. If we equate a person with a single bolt that belongs to a bridge, and they're very selfish, they're going to look at that bolt and throw it in the water and wonder what the hell and never find themselves or find the idea of goodwill or kindness or love or harmlessness.
Mhm.
However, more and more people are realigning and reorienting the bolt of themselves to other bolts. And then
Mhm.
there's a rail. And then there's a support system
Yep.
or an idea. An
It's built
idea
upon.
that comes forth that organizes, better organizes the whole thing.
Mhm.
Once that is done, you're starting to build a bridge. Well, where the hell are you going with a bridge? Bunches of people are building this thing foot by foot, inch by inch. We were going inch by inch. Now we're going foot by foot.
Yep.
But we
Yes.
still haven't made the entire bridge. So, why would a bridge be built? What else
Ah.
could there be for doing that other than the entire consciousness of the builders of that bridge to get to a higher level
Yep. And cohesion.
with
Yes.
cohesion? Yes.
Mhm.
And so,
Yeah.
to me, I'm not simply calling us all engineers. And those of us that wish for the
Yep.
love, wish for the kindness, the generosity of spirit.
Yep.
There's two things called goodwill, which is just being friendly and kind and giving handouts to others, not handouts, but helping other people. And then there's the will to good. What the will to good is that fact of we have the will within us to inculcate goodness throughout every step we take, every word we say, every thought we have.
Yep.
We have to reorient our thinking individually. And that we
Hmm.
were back to that whole idea of taking accountability and responsibility.
Quality. Hmm.
And once you do that, you take a look at it and say, oh, somebody's building a damn bridge over there.
Yep.
I want a part of that. I
Yeah.
want to be. It feels
Yep.
good. It feels strong. I
Yep.
want that bridge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they go and they add their boat to that bridge.
To the
That's
bridge.
more strength now.
Yep.
And it
Yep.
can cross a broader river perhaps the river
Yep.
of deceit,
You
the
see
the river of materialism, the river of hatred, and all those things that are so unnecessary in this world. What?
No, just give me your hand.
What?
Keep talking, but so that people know that you were actually here. Boo.
And that's why we need the bridge to build over that
Yes.
river. Or a
Yes.
gorge. What is a gorge? It's just emptiness. It's a hole in the ground.
Well,
How
it doesn't
can
even have to be a
exist
river.
without-
It can be a stream. It could be anything that, just
Mhm.
as long as we can get over it. And that's the bottom line, And I think
And-
that's where it all comes together.
And
First,
the
do
thing
no
is-
harm, love thy neighbor, and do unto
Yep.
others as you'd have them do unto you.
So what does
Um,
that mean? That means that you as an individual grab a hold of yourself by the ass and say, I'm not doing what I have been doing before because I don't like it. Because
Yep.
it's not helping others. I feel bad because I'm damaging
Someone else.
someone else.
Well, like
And there
Diane
are
Bishop just said, the law of
yep.
love, live in, with, for, and by love.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And this is it. We can all bring each of us a part of ourselves, a part of, just that caring, compassion. And guess what? We can build that bridge. And that bridge can be strong enough to sustain everyone. And we can allow all that funky water just to, right on down underneath that low, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But
The
Yeah.
other part of that, what is water but emotion?
yeah,
Oh.
exactly. So
After that
Paul, are
disaster-
you tying it up here or what?
Well, yeah, after that disaster yesterday, I forgot to run banners. So I'm giving
I
a
was
last
gonna
pitch
ask
out.
you, but I figured you
Yeah.
knew what you were doing.
I forgot. Again, yesterday was such a stressful day and all that with my internet going in and out. Cornelia, she did an awesome job of taking
Yeah.
over and running it. And then Jay's show, I brought Cornelia on that, and whenever my internet went out, she ran with it. She did an awesome job.
Cool.
She's just such a great human being. Again, that love, that kindness, that sharing, that helping, that supporting. It's what this whole thing is about.
Do you have ours? Do you have mine?
Yep,
in
I'm going
there?
to put that up
Oh.
in a second and all that.
Okay.
This is my Twitter and my TikTok. Later on Twitter, either today or tomorrow, I am going to put up my Patreon account. My
Ooh.
Patreon account is going to
All right.
consist of behind the scenes. So it's going to be an after show, maybe sometimes some secret interviews, stuff like that. Is only going to be available on my Patreon account. Now, I'm encouraging all of the guest stars, the co-hosts, the people to start up their own Patreon accounts so we can all share this material, spread the love, spread the knowledge, and maybe make a few bucks along the way, obviously, and all that. We're none of us are making any money off of this. We're all trying to get a little recognition. Some of us have books, some of us have businesses, things like that we want to endorse and put out there, so obviously making a little money along the way doesn't hurt anybody. So this is me on like I said, TikTok and Twitter, and then we have Shadow Fox. This is her Twitter and her Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook and Twitter.
So at 2C Shadow Fox on Twitter and C Shadow Fox. There should be a run on the end of that. I'm telling you, you need to change that, make that C Shadow Fox run.
No, well, the thing is because Facebook would not accept my name. It was
that's all right.
It was indigenous.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but they would not accept it. So we had to do. So it's Shadow Fox.
But
it is.
yes.
And
So,
I'm
anyways,
changing it. That's my
so
story.
anyways,
I'm sticking to it.
Yep. So, anyways, Shadow Fox and I, after we end this, we are going to do basically a behind the scenes show. It'll only be available on Patreon. It will not be available on YouTube. It won't be available on In the Moment or anywhere else. It'll only be available on Patreon. So for those that, like and love and all that, follow me on Twitter. And once I post it, it'll be out there. It'll be out there. And just so you know, I also wanted to bring up, I've had some people say, Paul, I've watched these shows. You got some authors on there and a spiritualist, but where's the political stuff? We love you for the political stuff. The political stuff is coming. The political stuff is coming. But I want to point out that one of the reasons why I've started with authors and spirituality, there is so much hate and discontent and everything in politics right now. I didn't want to start my rebranding with negativity, hate, and just all of these other things that are making our world just so uncomfortable. I wanted to start with family and love and kindness. And what I have found in the writing community and the spiritual community has been a lot of love, a lot of acceptance, and a lot of motivation and inspiration. So the political stuff is coming, but I'm starting with the things that I enjoy the most: spirituality and writing. So,
You know what? That's across the board. And you know what? Everything really intersects. It is interconnected. And the
yes.
thing is that no matter what we're speaking about, Paul, I mean, even in some of the other segments that you have, everything becomes interrelated and interconnected. So I could say something here, and it would be very, very, very applicable to what Bryce says, or what Cornelia says, or anyone else. It's like everything. It's there. There some accuracies in there. Doesn't mean that we all know everything. But you know what? Some of us have lived this life. We don't just talk about it, we walk it.
Yes.
And there's a difference between just talking it. It's talking the walk, walking the talk. And
exactly.
Been there, been beat up, man.
Yeah.
So we're just sharing some info. That's it.
Exactly.
But Paul, I can't wait. I can't wait to get into the that little next segment we're gonna do, and let's.
I know, and people have no clue as to what it's going to be about. Are we going to talk about sex, drugs, rock and roll? Are we going to talk about
whip me,
Hurricane
beat me, make
Ian?
me
Are we
write
going
bad checks?
yeah, are we going to talk about Hurricane Ian? Are we going to talk about politics? Are we going to talk about, I don't know. Who knows? You just have to find out.
Who knows? Yeah,
All
who
right.
knows? But I will tell you, I can be an instigator, and so can he. So it's like you never know where this is going to go.
Yeah. And as my good friends on Mute the Media say, mute the media. And as my good friend Shadow Fox says, journey well. And as I always say, be kind, be happy, and may good things come your way.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for being here. It's been an honor. Sending love, grace, and beauty to you. Blessings.